Class. Good old TJ.
Konnichiwa! Neil Squad, it's your boy INCOG, back with another reaction video. And today for you guys, we are on Set the Programmer's channel. This is from Set the Programmer. This is called Every Saiyan from Weakest to Strongest from the Dragon Ball series. So, let me in the comments down below before we can get started. Let me know who you guys think is the strongest Saiyan out of all of them from the Dragon Ball universe, and then who is the weakest. Let me know. Also, sub a like on the video so I can know you guys are enjoying the content. Let me know you guys are liking this type of video, because I know this ain't like my usual stuff I react to, but like I said, I'm trying to keep a variety on the channel. And if you guys enjoy the variety of the certain videos that I do, then I keep doing those. If not, then I'll just go back to what I've been doing. So yeah, like I said, guys, from weakest to strongest, Set the Programmer. All Saiyans from everywhere in the universe on from Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, stop liking the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also as well, hit the bell notification, make sure you click all so you never have to make a future upload. And also go follow my Twitch page. And guys, without further ado, let's get right into the show play.
Hello everyone, it's your host, Set the Programmer. And
You're not grading pause because it's like 28 minutes of a video.
Dragon Ball filler videos here or there, but I haven't made a genuine Dragon Ball video in almost over a year now. But I thought this one would be really interesting, this being ranking every Saiyan from weakest to strongest. A lot of people see this and go, well, that's easy, but it's more complicated than you think, especially as a YouTuber who has to present the information while triggering the least amount of people. Super Buu or Super Saiyan 2 Kabe, you'd be surprised how split people are on that. What about Kefla versus Fusion Zamasu? What about Ultra Instinct Goku versus Broly? What about Radish versus...
Wait, so he's counting Zamasu as a Saiyan?
Stack up against universe.
When you did that?
It's really not so cut and dry, especially for a lot of people. So granted, this video will be bombarded with dislikes, but if you do like videos like this, I'd seriously appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to his channel.
Here or haven't done so already.
Go ahead and go hit that for Set the Programmer.
For this video, we're going to kind of put characters in classes for the most part, because it's hard to put an objective value on some things in the series, but since it's my job, I'll be giving it my best shot. We'll also only be using one version of each character for this video. An example, only using Super Broly and no Z Broly, etc.
Oh, okay.
GT, or the video game.
Right.
Versus GT or video game debates for this video. It's already going to be long enough, and honestly, as toxic as it is. So in Class I, we have the three weakest Saiyans at 37, 36, and 35, which are Turles, Beats.
37 is the lowest, okay.
Weak and non-combative Saiyans, especially Beats, who has a power level weaker than Baby Broly at 920, with Gine having some combat experience in the past, being constantly saved by Bardock, and Turles being sent off to conquer a planet in the hopes he could prove himself to be a combatant type later. Turles is a strong he could be much higher if you think he actually battled Abo and Kado, rather than just foiled some of their plans and simply escaped from them somehow. It's hard to say due to how vague it is, but I'll point out where Turles could be.
Damn, I miss Dragon Ball. I can wait for hopefully they bring it out another series from Super. I already posted though.
Character Dictionary 2, it stated that Turles tried to stand up to them, but because he was no match, he went to his brother for help. So an argument that he should be higher is probably very strong, and he simply never finished dominating the planet he was on because he was kind-hearted, rather than because he wasn't like cutthroat, yeah. A combatant type Saiyan. 34 and 33 would be the two Phantom Saiyans. There's slight debate to be had over this.
Who are those? I forgot about those.
Instead of power levels, stating the Phantoms, sometimes referred to as Scarface and Shorty, are around 3,000. However,
Scarface and Shorty.
Universe, as we know, the movies are their own dimensions with their own sets of power levels. This would also explain why on the pamphlet there are many strange inconsistencies with it in the main series, such as Cybermen being at 1,300 despite being stated 1,200 many times in other guides, Bulma being stronger than Kid Goku, Napa being at 4,500.
Wait. Bulma was stronger than Kid Goku? Cap.
In this case, used for the main continuity. However, if you want, you can say that their movie versions would be much higher. However, that would be boring, as I want to present the idea of warrior classes in this video, and that is that the Phantoms are described as immature second-class warriors in Daizenshuu 7. This is in stark contrast and different from the wording such as low class and upper class, which I will go into soon. According to Kami as well, the Phantom Saiyans were also only half the strength of a full-fledged Saiyan warrior, considering someone.
So basically, two of them equals one Saiyan. So yeah, that's why they were weak. Okay, makes sense.
Toriyama, it's hard to say that they would rank above him. That being said, Radish is number 32. Radish is someone who was born at the lowest level of Saiyans, but eventually became an upper class Saiyan with similar status to Napa, plus the ability to join his team in the words of Toriyama, as I said earlier.
Okay, makes sense.
This sparked a lot of debate on whether or not Radish eventually became a mid-class Saiyan, as it is actually described that Saiyans can actually reach higher ranks depending on their battle power. If he did reach mid-class, that would actually mean that his power is more than likely surpassed Bardock's in Dragon Ball Minus, as that Bardock never actually acquired enough battle power to become a mid-class Saiyan, and is only ever described as upper ranked among
which is his father, so he surpassed his father at that point.
From the special because he's a lot cooler, and it's far more concrete than the Minus version. Regardless, Bardock from Minus and Radish would be debatable, as lame as that sounds, and this is coming from the guy with the Bardock profile picture, mind you. In Minus Bardock's defense,
that's really dope how he has Bardock's like character, but he just has like that mask going for his character. That's pretty dope.
Among the highest of the low class by Toriyama, it's a little bit difficult. In Class H, we have 31, the 10 mid-class Saiyans, as I said earlier. Toriyama once described that almost every Saiyan is a low class, except the 10 mid-class and the 2 elite Saiyans, King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta. If you consider the classes as something you can advance to by increasing your battle power, then these 10 mid-class would logically be above every low class. However, I'm not saying this is objective, as it's kind of confusing, as some would argue the classes are simply strength at your birth, but if they are strength-based, then they would be above low-class Saiyans, such as how, despite Goku being clearly mid-class or higher in strength, he is still referred to as a low-ranked class Saiyan by Vegeta, even after
right.
Turles also seem to note that him and Goku are low class as well, despite their power levels reaching many tens of thousands. There's many things that could go into it for me to quickly just sum it up for you guys, so take it as you will and decide for yourselves whether or not you think the mid-class by default scale above the low class. 30, 29, 28, 27,
Goodness.
25 are difficult because
what is that? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 of them right here.
In terms of the
Because that's Broly's father, if I'm not
Tora
mistaken.
is considered the strongest as he survived the longest against Team Dodoria. Borgos the second strongest, then Fasha, then Shugesh, as Shugesh is the only one to be damaged in the battle on Kanasa. If we use Dragon Ball Cardos power levels, this order drastically changes though, with Fasha only having a power level of 2,000, Shugesh 4,000, Borgos 4,200, and Tora 5,000. These cards are questionable in terms of their ability to determine these types of things and how valid they are, and it would be slightly strange if Fasha was only half as strong as Shugesh due to the battle on Kanasa and the damage taken. Napa, of course, has a power level of 4,000, and Haragus has a power level of 4,200. But with Napa, there's more to be considered. This is, of course, Napa possibly increasing his power against Goku beyond just 4,000. As everyone knows, Goku's power in the Saiyan arc is over 8,000 in base form, yet when calm and reformed, Vegeta thinks that Nappa's battle against Goku will be long and drawn out, and Nappa still seems confident fighting him, and Goku has to
gave it boy that work, kill him
fast enough before he kills Gohan and Krillin later, rather than simply blitzing him like an 8,000 to 4,000 should do and was shown at first. This wouldn't be shocking, as we know Saiyans do in fact increase their strength during battle, even midway, so if this was the case, it wouldn't be inconsistent. But once again, that whole chunk of fighters is very debatable, which I'll leave up to you guys, which is why we make
I'm actually liking this to get information like this.
Bardock's defense, characters like Borgos and Tora could even survive some attacks from Team Dodoria, despite Team Dodoria being somewhat strong enough to damage Bardock, who was having a power level on the verge of 10,000. However, we aren't exactly sure how hard Team Dodoria even tried against the team. For the time being, though, I'd put the order as Napa, the hypothetical power-up, then Tora, then Paragus or Borgos, with Fasha and Shugesh being kind of debatable. And if you don't consider the power-up valid still and you want the ranking for that, he's more than likely weaker than most of Team Bardock from the special. As you've probably figured out by now, we reached Class G, which are the elite level Saiyans, consisting of Bardock and King Vegeta. Now, not to say Bardock is an elite Saiyan, just has his power level similar to such. This is a curious debate, as Bardock reaches a power level of around 10,000.
That's really funny that both Goku and Vegeta's fathers are ranked close together like that. It's really hilarious. Like, Goku's father is slightly weaker than King Vegeta. Vegeta,
10,000, which
but
is never stated in
Goku
the
ends
sub
up being
of
stronger
the
than Vegeta. It's
special,
kind of
and
funny.
even in the dub
Vice
where
versa.
this is implied, it's only stated that Bardock might eventually surpass the king at the rate he's going. The only argument that can be made is that Bardock attains possibly another Zenkai after being blasted by Dodoria, and that King Vegeta dies before Bardock, thus Bardock simply surpasses him after he dies, and the strongest statement applies for his time regardless. This seems like a lot of gymnastics, though, and the post-Dodoria Zenkai, which more than likely did happen, quantifying it to King Vegeta is just headcanon. So this puts King Vegeta in the 23rd place and Bardock in the 24th, but it's okay if you think it's the other way around. As I said, it's debatable. But if you consider Bardock going Super Saiyan still valid or a continuation to the special version and not its own fan spin-off, then Bardock easily takes number 24 and actually makes it debatable whether he can beat number 23. In Class F, we have Turles. Turles in base was able to hold his own against Goku, who had a power level of 30,000, although he was losing
Turles,
far
okay.
exceeding the likes of King Vegeta and base Bardock respectively. But Turles eats from the Tree of Might, a divine tree that amps him exponentially, and with this, he is easily able to destroy Goku, who actually activates Kaioken times 10, meaning Turles' battle power more than likely far exceeds even 300,000 with just a little nibble of a fruit taken, which he doesn't even eat the whole thing, he literally just nibbled it. Later,
300,000 off that nibble from the movie?
Sheesh! Or 30,000 to 300,000 plus. Imagine him eating an entire fruit, and this is why I say it's debatable whether Super Saiyan Bardock for episode of Bardock is actually stronger than him or not, as of course Bardock would more than likely be 10,000, his power level times 50 for Super Saiyan, and be around 500,000 plus. And you could also argue Bardock had Zenkais and is above that, but you could also easily argue that Turles is way above 500,000 as well. I've seen some try to downplay Turles by saying Goku absorbed the energy from the fruit, so we don't know how much energy he actually got when he ate the whole thing. However, this is also half true, as Turles himself can tell when Goku actually starts absorbing the energy from the fruits nearby, and doesn't acknowledge them acting strange until he's actually already finished one. So I'll leave that debate up to you guys again in the comments. And yes, the movies do take place in another universe, so 30,000 could be way different for all we know in that universe. But for this video, we're
I was in another universe. Wonder what that
at
means.
number 21, we have
For
Super
the
Saiyan Yamoshi. This
lore
one is
canon.
slightly headcanon-y, but hear me out. There's two ways to look at this. Either A, Yamoshi is a rather weak Saiyan with a huge Super Saiyan power-up, or B, Yamoshi is a rather strong Saiyan with a huge Super Saiyan power-up. In Vegeta's versions of the Super Saiyan was not only just a Super Saiyan, but a golden great ape capable of soloing the entire
Which
Saiyan
baby
by itself.
got
It's heavily
that
implied
when
that
he
he's an
took over
incredibly
Vegeta body,
powerful
so that makes
Saiyan,
sense.
but
Came
not
from
so
Vegeta as the
overpowered
gold
that he
ape.
can't be defeated. At the same time, though, it is also implied that there were so many enemies that Yamoshi would tire himself out despite being able to more than likely one-shot any Saiyan at the time, even if you downplayed his power level. Yamoshi also started a rebellion with just he and 5 other Saiyans, and was capable of going Super Saiyan to begin with. And in Daizenshu, when referring to Super Saiyan, it actually states that anybody with a high battle power above the standard level can become a Super Saiyan. And of course, Toriyama adds that it's also due to S cells and anger or so on. So it's safe to say that Yamoshi was more than likely exceptional, given the fact that he also may have been a Golden Uzaru. He'd probably be insane. If you say he had a battle power of around 10,000 and then you multiply it by 50.
My bad if I'm not saying that. I'm just
Bardock's
really
case,
like
but if you
into this
multiply it
because
by
I love
50,
Dragon Ball Z. It's
like
my
10 again for
number
Golden
one favorite
Uzaru,
anime.
It reaches more of the
I'm
5
sorry.
million range. And of
So
course,
sorry.
he could have just been a decently powerful combatant, possibly weaker than King Vegeta. Then with his 50 times multiplier, he could just beat anybody. That's why I say this placing is somewhat headcanon, but he's at least in the same class F as Turles, give or take. Tarble could also go around in class F, depending on how strong you think Abo and Kato are, as it's implied in the Abo and Kato fight that Goten and Trunks have forgotten basic fundamentals of ki combat, but you might be able to argue that they are still extremely powerful, with Abo and Kato wearing them out. Of course, Abo and Kato are stronger than Tarble, so Tarble versus the duo would probably be like a future Trunks versus the android situation, but probably much worse. It also depends if you think
How much worse could they have got from that? Because man, it was bad.
They are around Frieza, and the universe knows Frieza by his first form strength, so if that's the case, Turles with the ball fruit eaten and Super Saiyan Bardock probably spank him. Otherwise, he'd be kind of OP. Numbers 20 and 19 are Goten and Trunks. In Dragon Ball Super Bonus Chapter 4, Goten and Trunks are actually shown fighting against Cell Juniors, who Android 17 stated were on par with the ones from the Cell games. We'll be using this argument for them because there are complications when it comes to Buu Saga, Goten, and Trunks, and they're scaling to Gotenks. That would make this video too dragged out. So for the meantime, we're going to be using the they got rusty and thought Cell Juniors were an impressive argument for this video. During the Buu saga, Goten was considered as strong as Gohan in Daizenshu and trained even harder for Super Buu, on top of being a super ultra tailless prodigy even greater than Gohan. However, in Son Goku and Friends Return, it's implied Goten and Trunks somewhat forgot key basics in training, and they aren't as up to date as they were before, thus eventually leading them to thinking Cell Juniors are impressive. You can definitely argue they're stronger with a few things in the Buu saga, but like I said, too contentious for now. I don't want to argue or have debates about whether or not Goten could beat Super Perfect Cell. Like, my comment section will not like that one. So Cell Juniors obviously scale above the likes of the androids. They were able to rough up Super Saiyan Grade 2 Vegeta back in the day, scaling above the likes of Frieza, Yamoshi, Abo, and Kaido's base forms, etc. Also, the Cell Juniors would also go in that area. I actually forgot to give them a number for this video, but they would go there. Number 18.
Will they even count to put the Cell Juniors on the list like this?
He probably would one-shot them based on the scaling to Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Not really much else to said. Even if you said he's not Super Saiyan 2 Gohan level and only like half his strength, or you know, enough to make Gohan consider him impressive, like he would one-shot the Cell Juniors. It's pretty standard. In Class D, we have number 17 and 16, which consist of Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and Super Buu Gohan Absorb. These are also self-explanatory, but basically for those that are just here for the show,
Vegito, man.
Super Buu's base form, which far exceeds even the likes of Super Saiyan 2 Majin Vegeta. This is due to the fact that Majin Vegeta.
You have to see when we get into the top 5 what it's gonna be.
Stronger than Super Buu Gohan Absorbed is obviously just Super Buu, who is rivaling Gotenks, plus Gohan, who is stated to be even stronger than both of them. So kind of obvious. Class C. This is where everyone on the internet will find a place to get mad, and will probably be the very annoying part of this video for many, many reasons. So for my sanity's sake, please understand, I will be very, very soft on this part of the video. I'm going to give multiple ways you can rank them and let you guys choose for yourself, okay? Just for my sanity. Before we get into the nitty-gritty,
just for my sanity.
14 is Renzo. So we don't actually know the exact strength of him, but we can actually give him enough of a general idea to say that he's probably this high on the list, if not higher. Renzo is the one who trained Kabe and is actually considered very powerful by him. Even after Kabe faced number 7, he thought that Renzo would actually be able to help them. He is also related to Caulifla and is considered a very advanced Saiyan. Even if you say he's relative to base Kabe, which is very generous, he would scale to Class C. Of course, base Kabe actually scales to base Vegeta during the Universe 6 tournament. Base Vegeta and base Goku both surpassing Super Saiyan God Goku from Battle of Gods, or the Battle of Gods arc, and this is stated numerous times during the fight with Beerus, confirming that Goku made the Super Saiyan God ritual his own power, and Goku couldn't even tell that he wasn't a god power-wise even when he is a Super Saiyan later, despite the fact that we know that Goku can tell when he's moving drastically faster or slower, such as when he stumbled around when he first attained God, yet was unfazed when it ran out. The episode is even titled, Goku Surpassed the Super Saiyan God, with Beerus, the narrator, and everything else just stating how he has the same level of power he did as a god, but with his normal ki. He then surpasses the Super Saiyan state stated to have surpassed God in his base form later in the same fight when he breaks his limits again, and this is to show Beerus, no one determines my limits, and he punches a giant death ball, right? Obviously, Super Saiyan God was a level of power that Goku didn't even think could exist, and put him on a level of power that he didn't even think the Katara earrings could give him at the time. This is possibly due to the Super Saiyan God ritual giving him an immense multiplier.
That's crazy that Super Saiyan God is really just basically base form Goku, just red. That's literally all it is. Not even Kaioken, just hair red. I mean, you got the red word like Kaioken,
but regardless, Goku then eventually surpasses this ritual. Once again, in Renzo's scaling to Kabe's case, I'm not saying that it is objective that he does scale to him, but it is very likely. Alright, now on to the bad part. The bad part is this group here, which is Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, Super Saiyan 2 Kabe, Super Saiyan 2 Kale, Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, and Super Saiyan Rage Future Trunks. So, many power scalers know where this is going. The debate comes down to whether or not their feats in the tournament of power surpasses the Goku Black arc, and while you can probably say Kefla more confidently does, the individual Saiyans are much more complicated. So I will write this out as simply as possible. Kale and Caulifla only surpass the Black Arc Saiyans if and only if you believe Super Saiyan 2 Kefla is stronger than Vegito Blue. So let me explain. In terms of feats,
what? Vegito Blue? What do you got doing there?
In the sense that fatigued Goku can actually
Vegito's my guy.
at the same time. Earlier in the arc, we saw Kale kind of manhandle Goku and Blue. However, you can argue maybe Goku might have not been going all out, or maybe you believe Goku got stronger later. These types of questions are what make things difficult to say matter-of-factly about their scaling. Fatigued Goku, when he did fight the two, was so fatigued fatigued, he initially couldn't even go Super Saiyan. And this is insane because later we see fatigued Goku fight again, but actually have a gauge for how tired his power will make him, or how his power will be affected by his energy level. Goku, when he still has enough energy to go Super Saiyan God, is actually weaker than Super Saiyan Vegeta when he is against Aniraza. This is Goku after limit breaking and growing probably much stronger, but once again he is too fatigued to show it. As a reminder, Vegeta has had no big fights or limit breaking moments quite yet, at best only having a brief scuffle with Toppo where neither really damaged each other, at least for the long term. So imagine now you have Goku who's too tired to even go Super Saiyan 1, let alone Super Saiyan God, and that's the Goku that fought Kale and Caulifla. In essence, it might even be possible to say that the energy Goku used on the two even in his God state, which even then he looked heavily suppressed on top of that due to his demeanor, wasn't even comparable to Super
his stamina was,
Vegeta
in terms of power, his
at
stamina
full
was
power doing
garbage
this.
at that
This is what
point.
makes scaling the two janky. But if you say Kefla is stronger than Vegito Blue using things like the Spirit Bomb scaling, then it might be possible to put them above the Black Arc individual Saiyans more concretely. The Spirit Bomb scaling is basically the idea that when Jiren exerted force and deflected his Universe 7 Spirit Bomb back onto Goku, all of the gods began to jerk him off, saying he was the mortal who surpassed the gods, how could any one fighter be so strong, blah blah blah. But in these statements is a statement from the Supreme Kai Shin, who insinuates that he's never felt strength like this from anybody they faced before, including Majin Buu, and more importantly, Zamasu. Zamasu, who in the anime was strong enough to actually put scratches and put up a fight against Vegito Blue. So if Kefla, who even as a Super Saiyan could deliver as much force as the Spirit Bomb, which surpassing made you stronger than everyone, then surely Kefla is stronger or near Vegito Blue, right? And if so, then if Kefla is only in Super Saiyan 2 and Vegito is in Super Saiyan Blue, then Kale and Caulifla would be stronger naturally than Goku and Vegeta in their blue states in the Black Arc, or base to base. The only issue now, though, is that it might be possible that this statement is exaggerated and can be interpreted a different way. The other interpretation of this statement, which is this power is different than anything we've ever faced before, blah blah, is actually in reference to the reserves of Jiren's power rather than his actual current power he is exerting. This isn't far-fetched due to the fact that Beerus and all of the other
Yeah, because
gods
Jiren wasn't going
Jiren's
ham until it was
lack of effort
1v1
and
with
his
him and
strength still
Goku.
remaining when he deflected the attack, which convinced them he was the mortal that surpassed the gods. So if they are able to sense the inner depths of his powers, then they could simply make the calculation that he's stronger than Merge Zamasu when using more of his ability, rather than the actual level of ability he used on Goku being what's more powerful. This level of sensing isn't foreign to Dragon Ball either, and it's not something not even only the gods can do. Korin during the Cell Saga was actually able to assess how powerful Cell was compared to Goku, even when they were both heavily suppressed, Cell in particular just standing around and waiting like a statue, and Korin's analysis was correct. So if Shin also shared a similar level of key insight, once again, it wouldn't be surprising. The only problem with this though is that if this interpretation is true, then Vegito Blue gets a fat power scaling amp and is much harder to scale. It also makes scaling Universe 6 a lot more annoying. In an interview, Fusion Zamasu was stated to be a cheat character that had unrivaled strength and abilities, even when Beerus was mentioned earlier. Some would say that Beerus was removed from the equation of strongest fighters, however this did not—
I never thought Merge Zamasu was unbeatable.
Some argue that the statement in the interview is different because it says
I wonder why he asked that,
Dragon
though.
Ball rather than individual fighters of the arc, implying possibly the whole show from what we know. In the manga and in V-Jump, Vegito Blue is then considered to be on par with Beerus, who is stated to be a god of destruction with the highest level of battle power in the Broly info cards. If you sort of mismatch some lore here and imply that Vegito Blue and Zamasu being Beerus tier characters is the author's intent, then their rank skyrockets alongside the Spirit Bomb downplay, of course.
So who's gonna be
In this
his top
case, Beerus
5?
isn't sure he's being surpassed into the end of the Tournament of Power when Ultra Instinct finally appears, in which we also get confirmation that Jiren, who Goku does surpasses all of the gods of destruction. This would also put Vegito Blue much higher than Kefla and put him into A tier. If we use this version, it might be possible to still argue that characters like Goku Black and Future Trunks still can surpass the Universe 6 Saiyans without much contention due to a lack of feats, with Gohan scaling higher than them by default due to his scaling higher than Fatigue Super Saiyan God and rivaling Golden Frieza and Super Speed Dispo. I've seen some people try to downplay Gohan by saying that Dispo was trapped inside Frieza's laser cage. However, this cage actually has a lot of room, surprisingly, and we actually see Gohan blatantly catch Dispo's punches that were blitzing Goku and giving Hit an insanely hard time, even while nerfed and based. So the debate is mainly Goku Black and Future Trunks versus the Universe 6.
Hey,
Gohan.
charged
For this video, I'll
hey,
leave
charged
what I
up
said in the air,
Trunks
but
in
you
that
guys
arc though
decide.
was lit.
Number 6 on the list in Class B is Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Of course, he is number 4.
That energy back into it was loud,
Zamasu,
so
though,
loud.
with Vegeta Blue and Zamasu being either 6 and 5 or 5 and 4. This is mainly due to the fact that even with the Kefla wank, it's insanely hard to say that Kale and Caulifla even remotely rival the Spirit Bomb individually, due to the fact that Super Saiyan Kefla's kicks are compared to it, let alone the base parts of the fusion. The reason Vegeta is higher than Kefla is mainly due to the fact that Vegeta becomes insanely powerful as the tournament goes on. I outlined these insane increases that range from the many thousands in my How Strong is Ultra Instinct video, which I seriously recommend, by the way. But I'll bring up some of my newer arguments on top of those here. But a very easy way to look at it is just the final flash that Vegeta uses on Jiren. The energy from the final flash has many statements around it that amp Vegeta immensely even before he obtains Evolution Blue. For one, when Vegeta first starts fighting Jiren, he says he's never felt an energy as heavy and strong as this before, meaning he feels what he's fighting is above Kefla. And if you consider Vegeta able to remember things that happened when he was Vegeta Blue, he considers this Jiren to be stronger than Fusion Zamasu as well. Of course, this argument that he can tell he suppressed is still valid. However, there's many different arguments here than just the Spirit Bomb. The first is that Vermod is insanely baffled by Vegeta's ability as a Saiyan to grow so powerful. Android 17 and even Ultimate Gohan are with this level of ability, and even Beerus is quite confident in this final flash against Jiren, knowing Jiren can easily deflect the Spirit Bomb. Jiren then actually blocks the final flash and is put on the ground, and says the force of the attack wasn't half bad, something he doesn't even credit Omen Goku, who surpasses the Spirit Bomb plus Kaioken times 20 to begin with. This is all lined by Vegeta getting
Ultra
insanely
Instinct, that
amped
boy.
after trying to learn how
Boy
to
hit
fight
him with a
Jiren. He
nasty
defeated numerous
switch.
times. Due to Vegeta's demeanor, it seems
Remember
that
when
he
he
was
rode,
more than likely doesn't know the limits of Jiren's
Kefla's
maximum strength, just like Goku
blast and
didn't
did
know
that
when he was
skateboard type
Even without
of
that, it's very
Kamehameha,
easy to
dopest
argue that
Kamehameha
his
ever.
Final flash surpasses the Spirit Bomb and Super Saiyan Kefla. Then with Evolution, which is confirmed a 20 times multiplier on par with Goku's Blue Kaioken by the directors, it's very simple to put Evolution Vegeta above Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, and quite possibly even Vegeta Blue if you don't use the Vegeta Blue is equal to Beerus arguments, which in all honesty might only apply to the manga. Now we reach Class A, and the reason Vegeta Blue and Zamasu, if they're as strong as Beerus, would go here is because we know that Vegeta is actually stated to not be on par with the Gods of Destruction quite yet without fusing. So in this case, anyone who is would more than likely be more powerful. This gets pretty contentious though, and just let me say flat out again and again, you cannot answer who is stronger between Class A objectively. The only one that's pretty clear cut is obviously Gogeta is stronger than Broly, but how Ultra Instinct Goku scales to the Broly movie is very vague, and we have to wait in the future to fully learn the answer. We know that Broly is compared to Beerus and is considered possibly stronger by Goku, and Gogeta manhandles him pretty hard. Funny enough, actually, I've heard some arguments that Broly is stronger than Gogeta, but Gogeta was just faster, which is why he damaged him. Obviously, this is nonsense, as Gogeta not only is able to block Broly's attacks at first and just Super Saiyan, but later on they have many fist and energy clashes, and that Gogeta just straight up overpowers and slams Broly away all the time, getting to the point he can draw blood from Broly and damage him to the point he can barely stand, while not even really trying the whole time. With Ultra Instinct Goku, we know that he scales far above base Jiren. Base Jiren is stated in many guides to blatantly surpass the Gods of Destruction. Funny enough, people use the guide where Beerus questions if Goku surpassed him with Ultra Instinct, even though Ultra Instinct wasn't actually at full power quite yet, to downplay Jiren, but they seem to fail to realize that right next to this, on literally the same scan, there is a statement that talks about Jiren's strength objectively outside of Beerus' opinion, which says, the warrior called Universe 11's strongest warrior, who put himself through bloody training from a young age. He lightly exercises power that exceeds the Gods of Destruction and overwhelms Goku. Ultra Instinct Goku in both the anime and manga promotional material stated to be a power that surpasses the Gods of Destruction, and blah blah blah. There's many of these. I could point out more and more. The problem though is that Jiren gets even stronger than this. Goku, who can fondle the Beyond God Destruction.
Nobody talk about Topo anymore.
Janemba can actually fight Goku again and even blast him away. But then we have a new statement that confirms Ultra Instinct Goku only gets more powerful as it actually fights, and then Goku gets to the point where he actually destroys Jiren without any difficulty. So you kind of have a list that goes the Gods of Destruction, then Jiren, then Ultra Instinct, then Hidden Power Jiren, and then Ultra Instinct again. So there's a few levels of bullying past the Gods of Destruction, and that's why the statement Broly is possibly stronger than Beerus isn't really holding so much oomph per se. I've had a lot of debates on this topic, and it gets into a lot of weird guide territory and semantics, and I don't want to make this a Broly versus Goku video, but I'll say
that Broly movie was so lit. Look at how he rode the blast though, like
Goku and Broly. So who do you guys think should be number one? Really depends on that matchup, of course. Broly
so basically he's saying that it's either between Dragon Ball Super Broly, Yes, either between Dragon Ball Super Broly from the movie or Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. So out of them two, who you guys think is number one strongest? And like I say, coming down strongest and coming down your weakest Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z. Alright guys, it's a long video as is. Just like, share, subscribe on the video, man. Go follow my Twitch page. And yeah guys, so without further ado, that's gonna be it right here. This video is going on like almost 30 minutes. So it's been with INCOG. I am out. Peace.